Committee. Can we please quiet the room down, sergeants, please? Thank you. I'm Councilwoman Nuri Martinez, and I'll be chairing T Committee this afternoon for Mr. Bonin. Thank you, Mr. Carres, for being here. Can I get the cards, please, so we can call some cards before we take out some items? Thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and take up Mr. Spindler. You've submitted cards for all items. So you have 3 minutes, including public comment. Stay on the items if you need an agenda to keep you on track. Go ahead.
Yes, Coots public comment. Pedestrians, cyclists, vehicles, LA DOT, fuck you. They're not working out, the streets are too slow, road diets, no good, no more. Oversized vehicles, you made them homeless, now you don't want them to park their vans. That's the problem with LA. Where are they going to go? The city of Downey? No. We were there last night. They're not taking your big-sized vans. They're going to stay right on the streets. But if you have a van, you can park it in CD6 on Victory Boulevard. That's all you have to say, and then you'll be able to park for free. Then we have more bullshit. Oversized vehicle, CD15, oversized vehicle on another street. See, this is just an attempt to illegalize people living in their mobile homes or cars, a backhanded way. Funding agreement with the LA County Metro Board, they should be meeting tomorrow. They didn't have a meeting last month. So LA DOT, the dashes are actually doing a pretty good job. See, we're not like a lot of these white people that complain about everything. No, I'm not that kind of white guy, no. But there's a lot of them in the room. So finally, Bonin. Where is the elusive Councilman Bonin? First he goes and conducts road diets. Then he says he has to pull them back.
That's not the agenda, Mr. Spindler. Stick to the agenda.
But isn't he
move on to general public comment.
Yeah, he's the chairman of this committee. Where is Mr. Bonin? We hear rumors he's in the hospital. Another overdose, maybe. You know, this is something that's going on here because he's been under a lot of pressure because down in his district near Mar Vista and the port, and all of the areas near Marina Del Rey, all of the road diets have screwed up and destroyed the traffic. John and Ken on KFI took up the recall for Bonin. So, of course, you know, when you're an addict, you're never cured. You're always recovering. So if he fell off the wagon, nobody's being his mentor, we may have a drug addict on the loose again, getting behind the wheel. We hope not, because they're going to be running over all those bicyclists he's trying to protect. You know how it goes. Yes, just like Jose Huizar. Yes, just like everybody else in the city. Nuri has to pinch hit for the intoxicated Mike Bonin. Fuck his road diets.
Mr. Herman? You have 3 minutes. You filled out cards for all items, including general public comment. Go ahead.
To present not the verbal report, but the ongoing projects and programs of transit services. You see, when it comes to mobility for pedestrians and cyclists, people with disability are always the first to be discriminated in the city of Los Angeles still, because of Willits versus Los Angeles. Why can't they fix the mobility over access for ongoing projects and programs? Because there's no fucking money. Here's why. You gotta pay $1.4 billion fucking dollars for Willits versus Los Angeles, you stupid scumbags. And then I go on to the next item because I filled out a card on 1, 6, 7, and 10, bitch, regarding who other than Joe Busciano, the silver-tongued fucked up cop who runs the area off of Imperial in Wilmington called the what? Estrella Avenue Northwest 135th Street. It's called a dead-end block. No, nigga, it's called a end of the block because they ain't no more room. Fool, I got a lot of time. Then I got public comment form. Let me do number 7 here. Another one. CD15 Busciano establishment and oversized vehicles. Fuck you. 42 U.S.C. 1983. It's unconstitutional, and the courts have ordered you stop. Stop! And again, stop! Discrimination against homeless and their oversized fucking vehicles. Now I'm going into my general fucking public comment. This morning at 8:30, when I walked in here with my little service dog, woof, 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 that stupid motherfucker pussy named, what? Mitchell Englander, the 5th place loser. He says, Herman, you can't have a bell on your dog. Well, I said, look, you stupid, dumb schmuck pussy in CD12, you have to understand, this is big LA, and dumbass people on their phones don't look, and they step on dogs. And my little service dog, you stepped on, I'll beat the fuck out of you. To teach you a lesson that you shouldn't pick on little dogs. It's just a service dog. Her name is Cutie Patootie. And we need more lighting so people can see where you're stepping. Don't step on a fucking dog. And then, again, a shout out thanks to Mr. Spender regarding that Bonin motherfucker. He probably like that O'Farrell motherfucker and got AIDS or something. Some kind of disease is going on because motherfuckers don't want to show up to work. If you show up to work, we can correct the budget, we don't have to dip into the pensions, and we all live happily ever after. Fuck you.
That concludes all the cards that I have on all the items, including general public comments, so we'll go ahead and close that. Can that be noted, please? We're going to go ahead and take items 2 through 9 on consent. Mr. Koretz, are you okay with that? All right, so without objection, that will be the order on items 2 through 9. We can go ahead and take item number 1.
Item number 1 is a general manager from DOT to present a verbal report relative to ongoing projects and recognition of employees for outstanding service.
Good afternoon, Ms. Reynolds.
Good afternoon, Councilwoman Martinez. Appreciate the opportunity to come before the committee and recognize some of LADOT's best and brightest. First, I want to acknowledge, please stand when I say your name, a special individual from Mobility Management, Anita Tang, a management analyst overseeing LADOT's car share program. Anita has been a longtime city employee, first serving as a lifeguard and then moving on to positions in the Department of Building and Safety, the Controller's Office, and the Treasurer's Office. So at LADOT, we haven't taken over maritime mobility yet, but if we do, it's great to know that we have a lifeguard on staff. She spent 10 years at LADOT as a contract compliance manager for the Parking Operations Support Group, where she became known as a problem solver and an expert on all the different aspects of citations and adjudication. For the last 8 months, Anita has been responsible for launching the electric vehicle car share program, which includes coordinating with multiple departments, the city's car share operator, and a community advisory group. The program is already drawing local and national attention. Anita's work ethic and ability to establish relationships throughout her career have allowed for a really strong start to this program. Thank you, Anita, for all your hard work, professionalism, and commitment.
Thank you very much.
And now from our Office of Parking Enforcement and Traffic Control, we are recognizing Sergeant Susan Rates. Senior Senior Traffic Supervisor Rates began her career as a traffic officer in 1989. During her 10 years, she has worked a variety of assignments, always been characterized as an employee that takes great pride in her work and sets a good example for others. In 2002, Susan was promoted to sergeant and is in the Valley Area Office. For the past several years, she supervised the Abandoned Vehicle Squad, which is no small task. In fact, over 40% of the city's complaints regarding abandoned vehicles are located within the Valley service area. Under her direct supervision, a squad of 12 officers handles an average of 350 complaints each day. This entails the coordination and assignment of duties that includes marking vehicles, issuing citations, or impounding vehicles for violating the city's 72-hour ordinance. Last quarter alone, Sergeant Rates processed 13,339 complaints of abandoned vehicles. In addition to these duties, Sergeant Rates serves as the Valley Office Liaison for complaints received from the Mayor's Office and each of the Valley's 7 council districts. Her leadership and dedication has fostered a work environment that constantly yields high performance and favorable comments from her coworkers. Please join me in expressing our appreciation and congratulations to Sergeant Susan Rates for providing us with 28 years of exemplary service. Thank you. So that's all I have for item 1. Happy to take any other questions or comments.
Mr. Carres, do you have any questions or comments? No questions. I want you to stand up again. Congratulations, ladies. Thank you very, very much for your commitment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and take up item number 10.
Item number 10 is communication from the CAO relative to the DOT's request to execute a contract with First Transit for the operation of the downtown and mid-city dash services.
Okay, we have a member of our CAO's office and the department. Just give us a brief overview of this item.
Yes, this item is for the, in April of 2017, the department sent out an RFP for the continued operation of dash services in the downtown and the mid-city areas. We received 3 responses from 3 known contractors, First Transit, MV Transportation, and Transdev. The incumbent contractor is Transdev, and MV is the contractor that does all of our other transit services. The contract was recommended to be awarded to First Transit because the panel felt that they had submitted the most thorough response to the RFP. They had a very strong operating methodology. They offered competitive wages and benefits to their employees. And they also had some innovative safety and technological improvements that would be a benefit to the contract. The contract was only for 2 years, which is fairly unusual for our operating contracts, which are typically 5 years in length. And the reason for the 2-year plus 2 one-year options is the fact that we have a new facility that is going to be built for the Dash Downtown services that is scheduled to be completed by next November. And the department saw this as an opportunity. Once the downtown services are moved into the new facility, there's an opportunity for us to repackage the dash services that are close by, and so save on additional lease costs. We also structured the RFP to take into consideration the transit service analysis that is going to be brought before this body for a future meeting. The TSA is recommended in phase 1 is going to be able to be absorbed in this particular contract because of the way it was structured. We requested of the proposers that they send in or they submitted costs for phase 1 of the TSA as well as phase 2, so that when the TSA is recommended or is approved, then it's going to be a seamless transition into implementation. We would not have to go back out to do another RFP. If there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to.
You have a few questions. Anyone else want to add anything? No. So as part of the contract, do they, can you tell us specifically what it means? Are they going to be providing staff and maintaining the vehicles as well?
Yes.
Okay.
All that the city does in terms of our operating contracts is to provide the vehicles for the service. Everything else is provided by the contractor, which means they have to find a facility, and they provide all of the staff, management, bus drivers, road supervisors.
And we provide the vehicle?
We just provide the vehicles.
Okay. And how many separate dash operators contracts do we currently have? And do we know when they're set to expire?
Yes, we have two contracts right now. Two contracts, but one contractor. MV Transportation, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the proposers to this particular contract. They have two separate contracts with us, but that's for all of our Commuter Express, the remaining dash routes, as well as our citywide paratransit service. They operate out of 3 facilities, the 2 contracts.
And when do we expect the transit service analysis to come forward for consideration?
I know we sent it forward to the mayor's office and the CEO in August of 2017. So I'm anticipating, and I guess this is a CEO's question, when it would be ready for.
When will we have it in committee? Do we know?
Lindsay Estes, off the CAO. We're expecting it within the next few months.
Okay. Before the end of the year?
That's our current estimation, yes.
All right. Mr. Koretz, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one. Thank you, Madam Chair. One complaint I occasionally get from members of the public is that it's difficult for people that aren't regular users of Dash to figure out what exactly the routes are and how to best make use of the service. Do our new contractors have any ideas on that or looking at that issue at all?
We do have a separate contract for a marketing consultant, marketing outreach, and we also have a website. We have brochures that we distribute to the communities and to schools and hotels, and we try to do as much outreach as possible, but all of that is done through the marketing consultant, not necessarily the contractor, the operating contractor.
Okay, so it's not the operating contractor's responsibility.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And I had one final question. So how would we reconcile the new recommendations from the transit service analysis for extended service hours and the new service routes into the existing contract? How are you going to do that?
What we asked for in this RFP is we asked for cost and operations for not only the existing service, but we also asked for cost and methodology for providing service for phase 1 of the TSA, which is later evening service and weekend, as well as phase 2. And phase 2 includes route modifications, shorter headways, and new dash routes. So phase 2 has already been accounted for. Phase 1 and phase 2 has been accounted for in this RFP because we asked for 3 different scenarios: the existing, and then phase 1, and then phase 2. So we anticipate that once the TSA is recommended and approved, then we would not have to go back out to get costs because it has already been included in this response, this proposal.
Got it. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to go ahead and recommend approval of the CEO recommendations. Without objection, that will be the order. Let's move on to item number 11. Can you please read that into the record? Thank
Item
you very much.
11 is a communication from DOT relative to the authority to enter into funding agreements with LA Metro for the call for projects. The department has submitted a technical correction for the attachment for 2 projects that were inadvertently omitted.
For the 2 projects that were left off from the list.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Councilman, Councilmember. My name is Carlos Rios with LA DOT, and what you have before you is a report seeking the affirmation from the City Council to move forward with executing funding agreements for the Metro Call for Projects. A little bit of background, Metro Call is a biannual call for projects, opportunities, and when we submit, when the actual call is released, we submit a report to Council seeking authority to submit funding applications, and in that same report, we seek authority to enter into any funding agreements that are necessary to implement those projects. Last year, Metro initiated a new requirement prior to us executing funding agreements, and that new requirement is that we certify a project readiness cert. And the project readiness cert is just another affirmation that the city has the resources, the local match, and is cognizant of the lapsing policies associated with those funding agreements. So what you see before you here is a report seeking that affirmation for all the projects that received prior grant awards and in which the funds are programmed this current fiscal year 17-18. So that, in essence, is the report, and as Mrs. Roundtree indicated, there is a correction in the attachment where we erroneously omitted 2 projects, and we since corrected that, so the list that you see before you is a complete list of all the projects that we are seeking affirmation for.
What year were the projects approved in the call for projects?
They vary. Most of these projects were
Yeah, they don't have any
2013 or 2015 call for projects.
12 and 13?
It's 2013 and
Okay.
2015.
Okay. And are the departments staffed and ready to begin the work on all these projects?
Yes.
By this fiscal year?
Well, what this report is seeking is the authority to enter into the funding agreement to begin the implementation of the project. And what you see on the attachment is a project lapse date, which essentially is the time given for the agencies or the departments to deliver the project.
And why were these 2 additional projects left off the list?
What happens is I work with Metro closely, and in April or May, they send me the list of projects that had their first year of programming fiscal year 17-18, and I emailed them our report earlier this week, and they realized that they had omitted 2 of their projects, 2 projects that should have been on the list, so I since
And
corrected.
that's still the Arts District Little Tokyo Gold Line Station and Central Avenue Historic Corridor?
Yes.
Streetscape? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Corretz, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just one about number 8 on the projects list is ATSAC, which I think needs enhancements, but could you tell me specifically what this project will do to
Which one is that? Mine are not numbered. Which one are you referring to? Oh, ATSAC?
ATSAC?
The surveillance video?
I'm not sure that is the same thing or not.
Yes, the project title is ATSAC Traffic Surveillance Video Transportation System Enhancements. Unfortunately, I don't have the specifics of that project. I'd be more than happy to report back on the specifics.
Is that in your district?
It's a
Not
citywide.
sure if it's partially in my district, but it's a citywide program.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not versed enough to be able to explain what the project scope is. I can definitely report back on what the specifics of that project are.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and recommend that we approve the department report as amended to reflect the additional 2 projects listed in attachment number 1. Okay?
Thank you.
Without objection, that will be the order. And I think that concludes our meeting. This meeting is adjourned.